My name is Kelli 32, and I'd poured everything into my new townhouse in Omaha earned through years of grinding at my marketing firm. The housewarming was supposed to be my victory lap. But as I stepped through the door, my stomach dropped. Stacks of suitcases and cardboard boxes, none of them mine, cluttered my living room. Picture frames I'd never seen leaned against my walls. My neighbors whispered in corners, their eyes darting away. My mother stood by the staircase, her smile tight, avoiding my gaze. "Who did this?" I demanded, my voice sharp. She shrugged, muttering, "This house is for family." My pulse raced. Family. I'd bought this place with my own money, no help from anyone. Then I saw it on the table, a lease agreement from my property management company. My signature forged, listing my brother's family as tenants. My hand shook as I clutched the paper. This wasn't a mistake. Someone had planned this, and my mother was in on it. I locked eyes with her. "Explain." "Now." She turned away, pretending to greet a guest. The crowd's murmurs grew louder, phones already out, capturing the tension. I wasn't just angry, I was done being blindsided. Something had happened before today, and I was going to find out what. But first, I had a move to make, one they'd never see coming. Have you ever had your family betray your trust over something you worked hard for? Drop your story in the comments below, and let's talk about it. You won't believe what I did next. 2 days before the housewarming, my phone buzzes while I'm at the office. My best friend Stacy's name flashes on the screen, and her voice crackles with urgency when I pick up. "Kelli, you need to hear this. Your mother's been telling the neighbors your new house is family property, like it's not even yours." My grip tightens on the phone. Family property. I've never shared a dime of that townhouse with anyone. Every cent came from my marketing firm, built from years of late nights and relentless pitches. I thank Stacy, hang up, and pull my laptop from my bag, my fingers moving faster than my thoughts. I log into the property management company's portal, the one I use to rent out a spare room for extra income. An unread email from 2 days ago sits at the top, subject line, "Lease update." My heart skips as I open it. The message states my brother has been added as a tenant effective immediately, with a note attached, per family priority request. My mother's email is copied in the thread, her name glaring back at me. This can't be real. I scroll further and find another email, this one from my brother's wife. She's written a list: curtains, a queen bed, a vanity mirror for her room. Her room, in my house. My blood runs cold, not from shock, but from the clarity of it all. This isn't a mix-up, it's deliberate. I dig through the email thread, piecing it together. My mother must have contacted the management company, claiming authority she doesn't have. The lease update lacks my signature, which means it's not binding, but the audacity burns. I think back to last month when she cornered me at a family dinner, insisting I help my brother with his debts. I'd refused, saying my money was my own. Apparently, she didn't listen. Neither did he. My jaw clenches as I realize they've been planning this, assuming I'd just roll over. I grab my phone again and dial Stacy back. "You were right," I say, my voice steady despite the fire in my chest. "They're trying to take the house." She gasps, then launches into questions, but I cut her off. "I'm handling it. Thanks for the heads up." Stacy's warning has given me a narrow window to act, and I'm not wasting it. I scroll through my contacts, find my longtime lawyer, Lawrence, and hit call. He picks up on the second ring, his calm voice a stark contrast to my racing pulse. "Lawrence, it's Kelli. I need you to look at something urgent." I forward him the emails explaining the forged lease and my mother's role. He listens, interrupting only to clarify details, then promises to review the documents immediately. "If this is what it looks like," he says, "it's not legal. You're the sole owner. But we need to confirm the management company's error and your mother's involvement." I nod, though he can't see me, and ask him to prepare whatever paperwork is needed to shut this down. "I want my house protected," I tell him. "No one gets to claim it but me." Hanging up, I lean back in my chair, my mind racing but focused. The emails are still open on my screen, a digital trail of betrayal. My brother's wife's furniture list feels like a taunt, as if she's already moved in. I think about confronting my mother, but that can wait. Right now, I need answers and a plan. Stacy's call has bought me time, and Lawrence's expertise will give me leverage. Whatever my family's scheming, they've underestimated me. I close my laptop, my resolve hardening like steel. That evening, I video called Lawrence, my lawyer. The screen flickered as Lawrence's face appeared, his office bookshelves a familiar backdrop. I wasted no time diving straight into the issue. I sent you the emails. What's the deal with that lease? My voice was steady, but tension coiled in my chest. He adjusted his glasses, scrolling through the documents I'd forwarded. After a moment, he leaned forward, his tone measured but firm. The lease amendment adding your brother is fake. It lacks your signature, Kelli. Legally, it's worthless. The property management company screwed up by even processing it. I exhaled relief, mixing with a sharper edge of anger. Worthless or not, the move was bold, calculated. Lawrence continued explaining that the management company could face liability for their error, but we needed more evidence to pin down my mother's role. She's clearly involved, he said, but we need proof she initiated this. Check for any other correspondence texts, voicemails, anything. I nodded, already mentally sorting through my phone. And one more thing, he added, his voice lowering. If this escalates, selling the house might be your cleanest way out. It cuts all ties with your family, no strings attached. Selling. The idea hit like a cold splash. My townhouse wasn't just property. It was my proof of independence earned through years of clawing my way up in marketing. I wasn't ready to let it go, not yet. I'm not there, I told him. But I want every legal option ready. Draw up whatever protects my ownership, no loopholes. Lawrence agreed, promising to draft documents by morning to block any further attempts on the house. Stay sharp, he warned. Your family's not done. As the call ended, my phone buzzed with a new text. My mother's name lit up the screen, her words dripping with false warmth. Sweetie, come home early tomorrow. We need you for party prep. I stared at the message, my thumb hovering over the reply button. Party prep. The nerve of it made my skin crawl. She wasn't planning a celebration, she was setting a stage. I swiped the text away, refusing to engage. Let her think I was clueless. Silence was my weapon for now. I opened the security app on my phone, the one linked to the cameras I'd installed when I bought the house. The system wasn't fancy, just standard for Omaha homes in the 90s, but it was enough. I tapped the live feed, expecting to see an empty living room. Instead, the screen loaded a grainy image of the front door still locked, but a shadow moved past the window. My pulse quickened. Someone was there, or had been. I switched to the hallway camera, but the feed was dark, possibly tampered with. My fingers tightened around the phone. This wasn't just about a fake lease anymore. They were already making moves. I leaned back, forcing myself to breathe. Lawrence's advice echoed, gather evidence, stay sharp. I opened my email again, searching for anything I'd missed. A voicemail notification popped up, one I hadn't noticed earlier. It was from the property management company left that afternoon. I hit play, and a nervous voice filled the speaker. Ms. Kelli, we're reviewing the lease issue. We received a call from your mother claiming you'd approved the change. Please confirm. My jaw tightened. There it was, proof she'd lied. I saved the voicemail, forwarding it to Lawrence with a note. This is what we need. My mind raced, piecing together the next steps. The cameras might show more by morning, and Lawrence's documents would give me a legal shield. But my mother's text gnawed at me, her fake sweetness, a reminder of how far she'd go. I thought about my brother, silent in all this, letting her pull the strings. Had he known about the lease? Had he pushed her? The questions burned, but answers could wait. Right now, I needed control. I set my phone down, my resolve sharpening like a blade. The house was mine, and no forged paper or family scheme would change that. But I had to be ready for whatever they'd planned for the housewarming. The cameras would be my eyes. Lawrence, my armor. I wasn't just protecting property. I was drawing a line. By morning, I opened the camera app from the hotel. The grainy feed loaded on my phone, pulling up the living room of my Omaha townhouse. My breath caught as the image sharpened. My brother was there, dragging a heavy suitcase across the floor, its wheels scraping loudly. His wife stood nearby, pointing at the walls and barking orders about where to hang a gaudy mirror. I switched to the master bedroom feed and my stomach twisted. Boxes labeled with their names were stacked against my bed frame as if they'd already claimed the space. This wasn't just a visit they were moving in. I tapped the hallway camera, and there was my younger cousin Devin lingering by the stairs. His voice was low, barely audible over the app's tinny audio. "Kelli will figure this out. This isn't right." My mother's sharp reply cut through. "Shut up. She'll have to deal with it." Her tone was cold, final, like she'd already decided my role in their plan. I froze the phone, trembling in my hands, not from fear, but from a burning clarity. They didn't just want a room. They saw me as a blank check, a resource to exploit for as long as I'd let them. I replayed the footage, zooming in on my mother's face, her expression smug, as she folded a stack of their clothes. My brother hauled another bag, oblivious to Devin's unease. His wife adjusted a framed photo on my dresser, her movements possessive. Every frame confirmed what I'd suspected they'd planned this long before the housewarming, banking on my silence. My pulse pounded, but it wasn't panic. It was resolve, a fire igniting to take back control. My phone buzzed, snapping me out of the feed. A text from Stacy lit up the screen. "Stay calm, Kelli. You've got this. Don't let them push you." Her words grounded me, a reminder I wasn't alone. I typed back a quick, "Thanks, I'm on it." Then set the phone down, my mind racing. The cameras had given me proof, but proof wasn't enough. I needed a way out, one that would end this for good. Lawrence's words from last night echoed. Selling the house could cut all ties. The idea, once unthinkable, now felt like a lifeline. I scrolled through my contacts, stopping at the name of my old friend Nadine, a real estate agent. I hadn't spoken to her in months, but she'd always been reliable, sharp, and discreet. I hit call, and she picked up on the third ring, her voice warm but curious. "Kelli, everything okay?" I didn't waste time on small talk. "Nadine, I need to know how fast I can sell my house. No questions, just the process." There was a pause. Then she shifted to business mode, asking about the property's value and market conditions in Omaha. I answered briskly, keeping details vague but firm. "I want it done quietly, and I want it done soon." Nadine outlined the steps, listing the house, finding a buyer, closing the deal. She warned it could take weeks, but with a motivated seller and a fair price, we could push it faster. "I'll need to see the place," she said. "Can you get me in tomorrow?" I hesitated, thinking of the cameras, the boxes, my family's brazen takeover. "Not yet," I said. "I'll handle access. Just start the paperwork." She agreed, promising to pull comps and draft a listing by the next day. I thanked her, hanging up with a strange mix of dread and determination. I leaned back, replaying the camera footage in my mind. Devin's whispered doubt stuck with me. He wasn't like the others, not fully committed to their scheme. Could he be an ally? I dismissed the thought. He hadn't stopped them, and that was enough. My mother's voice, harsh and dismissive, looped in my head. She'd always favored my brother, excusing his debts, his failures, while expecting me to pick up the slack. This wasn't new, but it was final. They'd crossed a line, and I wasn't bending. Stacy's text had reminded me to stay calm, but calm didn't mean passive. I opened the camera app again, saving clips of every incriminating moment: my brother's suitcase, his wife's decorations, my mother's biting words. Each file was another piece of leverage, proof I could use if this went to court. But court wasn't my goal. I wanted freedom, not a fight. Selling the house as Nadine had laid out felt like the only way to sever their hold without dragging this out. I stood pacing the small hotel room, my thoughts crystallizing. The housewarming was tomorrow, and they'd expect me to show up smile play along with their charade. They didn't know I'd seen them, didn't know I was already moving against them. Nadine's call had given me a path, and the cameras had given me clarity. I wasn't just reacting anymore, I was planning. My family had underestimated me, but they'd learn soon enough. That afternoon, I stepped into Nadine's real estate office. Nadine greeted me with a quick hug, her expression a mix of concern and professionalism. "You sure about this, Kelli?" she asked, gesturing to a chair across her desk. I nodded, my jaw set. "I need it sold fast, Nadine. Before tomorrow's housewarming, and it stays between us." My friend didn't flinch, pulling out a stack of forms with practiced ease. She explained the market in Omaha was decent, but to move the house in under a day, we'd need to price it low, aggressively low. "It'll attract cash buyers," she said. "I know a few who'd jump at this, but you'll take a hit." I didn't care about the money. Freedom was worth more. "Do it," I told her, my voice firm. Nadine nodded, sliding a power of attorney form across the desk. "This lets me handle the sale if you're tied up. Sign here." I scanned the document, the weight of the decision settling in. This wasn't just selling a house, it was severing a lifetime of family expectations. My pen moved steadily, signing my name with deliberate precision. "Close it before the party," I said. "No delays." She promised to list the property discreetly, targeting her network of investors. "You'll have an offer by tonight," she assured me, her tone steady. As I handed back the form, my phone vibrated, my mother's name flashing on the screen. I ignored it, but it buzzed again, then a third time. Her voicemail came through, her voice sharp, no trace of the fake sweetness from before. "Kelli, you need to be at the house tomorrow. This is about family unity. Don't make this difficult." I deleted the message, my fingers steady but my chest tight. Unity. She meant control. I texted back, keeping it short. "In a meeting." "Can't make it." "Let her stew." I wasn't playing her game. Nadine watched me, her eyes narrowing. "Everything okay?" she asked. I gave a tight smile. "Just family." She didn't push, instead handing me a draft listing for the house. The price was lower than I'd hoped, but it was a means to an end. I approved it, my mind already shifting to the next step. "Keep me posted," I told her, standing to leave. She squeezed my arm. "You're doing the right thing, Kelli. I've got your back." I nodded, grateful for her loyalty, and walked out, the signed papers a quiet victory. Back in my car, I opened the camera app on my phone, the familiar feed loading my townhouse's interior. The living room was quiet, but the master bedroom feed showed my brother's wife, phone in hand, snapping photos of the space. She angled the camera to capture my bed, my dresser. Her expression smug. I switched to my laptop, pulling up her social media profile. Sure enough, she'd posted the pictures, the caption dripping with arrogance. "New home vibes, ready for a fresh start." My blood boiled, not from surprise, but from the audacity. She was flaunting my property like a trophy. I saved screenshots of the posts, each one another piece of evidence. The cameras had caught her in the act, and now her own words betrayed her. I thought about Stacy's text from that morning, urging me to stay calm. Calm wasn't the issue, focus was. My family thought they could bulldoze me, but they'd miscalculated. The housewarming was hours away, and they had no idea I'd already set the wheels in motion. Nadine's promise of a quick sale was my ace, a way to pull the rug out from under them. My phone buzzed again, another call from my mother. I let it go to voicemail, her voice now a low growl. "Kelli, you're being selfish? Get to the house tomorrow, or you'll regret it." I didn't bother replying. Her threats were hollow, and I was done bending to her demands. I leaned back, taking a deep breath, my resolve solidifying like concrete. Tomorrow wasn't just a party, it was the end game. I'd walk into that house, face them, and let them see what happens when they underestimate me. I closed the camera app, the images of my brother's wife still burning in my mind. Nadine's office was behind me, the signed papers proof I was no longer reacting, I was dictating the terms. Stacy's support, the camera footage, and now the sale gave me everything I needed. My family had pushed too far, and I was ready to push back. The housewarming would be their stage, but I'd be the one writing the ending. On the morning of the housewarming, I received Nadine's final call. Her voice was brisk, professional. "Kelli, it's done. The buyer signed at dawn. The house is officially theirs, funds transferred. You're free." A wave of cold satisfaction washed over me. The townhouse, my hard-earned anchor, was gone, but so was the weight of my family's greed. "You're a miracle worker, Nadine," I said, my tone steady. "Send me the paperwork." She promised to email the documents and wished me luck. I hung up, my fingers tightening around the phone. The party was hours away, and I was ready. I drove to the house, the Omaha streets blurring past. My stomach was calm, my resolve a sharpened blade. The plan was simple: walk in, let them gloat, then drop the truth. They'd pushed me too far, and today they'd learn the cost. I parked a block away, slipping my phone into my pocket. The camera footage, screenshots, and sale confirmation were backed up my insurance if they tried to twist this later. But I didn't need a fight, I needed an exit. The front door was open, laughter and music spilling out. I stepped into the crowded living room, the air thick with chatter and the clink of glasses. My mother stood at the center, her smile radiant, a queen holding court. She spotted me, her eyes gleaming with triumph. "Kelli, you made it," she called loud enough for everyone to hear. She swept her arm toward the hallway. "This house is for the whole family to share." She pointed to the master bedroom, now my brother's, then the guest room claimed by his wife, and the study taken by my younger cousin. Her voice dripped with pride, as if she'd orchestrated it all. My brother grinned, leaning against the wall, his arm around his wife. She adjusted a new scarf, her expression smug, as if she'd already won. My younger cousin stood near the back, his gaze fixed on the floor, silent. The guests, neighbors, distant relatives, a few of my mother's friends nodded approvingly, some raising their phones to record her speech. I let her finish, my face a mask of calm. Then I stepped forward, my voice cutting through the noise like ice. "You're wrong," I said, locking eyes with her. "This house isn't mine anymore. I sold it this morning." The room froze. My mother's smile faltered, her hand dropping. My brother pushed off the wall, his face twisting. "What the hell are you talking about?" he yelled, his voice cracking. His wife's jaw dropped, her scarf slipping as she stared. My younger cousin lifted his head, his eyes wide, but he said nothing. The guests shifted, whispers rippling through the crowd, phones still recording. I didn't flinch. The sale closed at dawn. The new owner takes possession tomorrow. You're all guests in someone else's property now. My mother's face drained of color, her mouth opening, but no words came. She'd built her plan on my silence, my compliance, and I'd shattered it. My brother stormed forward, shouting, "You can't do this. This is our house." I met his glare, unflinching. It was mine, and I chose to let it go. His wife grabbed his arm, her voice shrill. "This is a lie, we've already moved in." I tilted my head, my smile cold. "Check your social, Kelli. You posted pictures online claiming my house is yours. I have the screenshots and the cameras. You don't own anything here." The guests murmured, some pulling out phones to scroll through social media, finding her posts. Her face flushed, but she had no defense. My younger cousin finally spoke, his voice quiet. "Kelli, I didn't want this." I looked at him, his guilt plain, but I shook my head. "You didn't stop it either." He looked away, ashamed. The room buzzed, guests whispering, some filming the chaos. My mother found her voice, her tone venomous. "You're no daughter of mine." I shrugged, the words sliding off me. "Good. I'm done carrying your weight." I turned, walking toward the door. My brother shouted after me, his words a jumble of threats and curses, but I didn't look back. The guests parted their eyes, following me, some shocked, others amused. My mother's voice rose shrill, calling my name, but I kept moving. The sale was final, the house was gone, and so was their leverage. I'd reclaimed my life, and they'd have to live with the wreckage. Outside, the air was crisp, the sun bright. I slid into my car, the engine humming as I pulled away. The chaos I'd left behind was their problem now. Nadine's call, the signed papers, and my own resolve had set me free. They'd underestimated me, and I'd made them pay. Right after my words, the living room erupted in chaos. My brother lunged forward, his face red with fury, blocking my path to the door. "You're not walking away that easy, Kelli. We'll sue you for this," he roared, jabbing a finger at me. I didn't move, my gaze steady. Before I could respond, my lawyer friend Lawrence, who'd come with me as a legal witness, stepped beside me. He pulled a folded document from his jacket, his voice calm but firm. "You'll want to see this first. It's a copy of the sale contract. The transaction is airtight, signed and notarized. Kelli owns nothing here anymore." My brother snatched the paper, his eyes scanning it frantically. His wife, standing frozen nearby, peered over his shoulder, her face paling as the reality sank in. The guests, still buzzing from my announcement, leaned closer, some filming the exchange on their phones. My younger cousin turned to my mother, his voice trembling with frustration. "I told you not to push this. Now we've lost everything." His words cut through the noise, heavy with regret. My mother's expression twisted, but she said nothing, her hands clenching. My brother rounded on his wife, his anger shifting. "This is your fault. Why'd you post those stupid pictures online? You made us look like idiots." She flinched, her voice sharp in defense. "Don't blame me. You said we had this in the bag." Their argument escalated, voices overlapping, oblivious to the crowd. The guests whispered, some pulling up her social media posts, the captions now a public embarrassment. Neighbors in the room exchanged glances, their murmurs spreading like wildfire. By nightfall, the videos would be all over the internet, a spectacle for Omaha's gossip mill. My mother, silent until now, suddenly dropped to her knees in front of me, her hands grasping at my arm. "Kelli, please," she begged, her voice breaking. "Cancel the sale. We're family. Don't do this to us." Her desperation was raw, a stark contrast to her smug confidence moments ago. I looked down at her, my heart unmoved. "You made your choices," I said, my tone cold. "You don't get to rewrite them now." I pulled my arm free, stepping back. Her pleas turned to sobs, but they didn't sway me. She'd built this mess, and I wasn't cleaning it up. The room grew louder, the guests' chatter mixing with my family's chaos. My brother crumpled the contract, tossing it to the floor, but Lawrence's presence silenced his threats. "You've got no case," my lawyer friend said, his voice cutting through. "The new owner takes possession tomorrow. You need to be out." My brother's wife started to protest, but her words faltered under his stare. My younger cousin, still by my mother's side, shook his head, his guilt plain but useless now. I turned toward the door, the weight of their anger and desperation fading behind me. My brother's family would have to scramble now, packing their belongings and facing the reality of rent they couldn't afford. They'd assumed my house was their safety net, but I'd cut the ropes. The neighbors' whispers followed me, their phones still capturing every moment. By tomorrow, the story would spread. Kelli, the woman who sold her house to escape her family, would be the talk of the town. I didn't care. Let them talk. Outside, the afternoon sun was warm, the Omaha air sharp and clean. I slid into my car, Lawrence following to ensure I got out safely. "You did what you had to," he said, his tone steady. I nodded, a faint smile breaking through. "Thanks for having my back." He waved it off, promising to handle any legal fallout. I started the engine, the hum grounding me. My family's chaos was their burden now, not mine. I drove through the city, passing familiar streets for the last time. My bags were already packed, my life condensed to what fit in the trunk. Omaha had been my home, but it was also a cage tied to expectations I'd never agreed to. Selling the house wasn't just about escape, it was about starting over, free from their demands. My mother's tears, my brother's threats, his wife's arrogance, all of it was behind me. My younger cousin's regret lingered in my mind, but it wasn't enough to pull me back. As I hit the highway, the skyline faded in the rear view. Relief settled over me, light and unshakable. I didn't know where I'd land, but it would be mine, chosen, not inherited. The videos, the gossip, the fallout would follow my family, not me. I'd walked away not just from the house, but from a past that no longer defined me. 1 month later, I stood in my new apartment looking out over the city. Sunlight poured through the window, casting a warm glow across the bare floor. I'd kept things simple: a desk, a chair, a few books stacked neatly. My laptop hummed open to a spreadsheet for my marketing company. After weeks of late nights and early mornings, I'd landed 2 new clients, small businesses eager for my ideas. The work was demanding, but it was mine, free from the weight of family expectations. I sipped my coffee, the quiet peace of the moment settling over me like a blanket. I hadn't spoken to my family since the housewarming. Their absence was a relief, a clean break from years of manipulation. I'd heard through an old friend that my brother and his wife were drowning in rent debts. They'd moved into a cramped apartment in Omaha, but the costs piled up faster than they could manage. Their arguments, once confined to private moments, now spilled into public fights, neighbors overhearing their shouts about bills and blame. She accused him of failing to secure the house. He threw her social media posts back in her face, calling them reckless. Their marriage, built on greed, was cracking under the strain. My younger cousin had left Omaha entirely. He'd packed a bag and moved to another state, cutting all contact with my mother. I wasn't surprised. His guilt at the party had been real, but so was his resentment. He'd warned her, pleaded with her to stop, but she'd pushed forward, convinced she could control me. Now he was gone, starting over somewhere far from her influence. I didn't know where, and I didn't need to. His choice mirrored mine, a line drawn, a life reclaimed. My mother's world had unraveled most of all. The neighbors who once fawned over her now turned away. The videos from the housewarming shared across social media had painted her as a schemer, a woman who'd tried to steal her daughter's home. Omaha's gossip mill was merciless, and her reputation crumbled. People whispered about her at the grocery store, avoided her at community events. She'd lost the trust she'd spent years cultivating, and no amount of charm could win it back. I felt no pity. She'd chosen her path, and I'd chosen mine. I turned from the window, my mind drifting to the house. Selling it had been a loss, but a necessary one. That townhouse, bought with years of hard work, had become a chain tying me to their demands. Letting it go freed me to build something new, something no one could claim. My company was small, but it was growing, each contract a step towards stability. I'd learned to guard my achievements, to set boundaries no one could cross. The cost was steep, but the reward was worth it. Sometimes I thought about my younger cousin's words at the party, his warning to my mother. He'd seen the truth, but he hadn't acted until it was too late. I couldn't afford that mistake. I'd spent years giving my family the benefit of the doubt, hoping they'd respect my choices. They hadn't. Their greed had blinded them, and I'd paid the price for their entitlement. Now I knew better. Family wasn't a free pass to exploit trust. It was a bond that required mutual respect. Without it, there was nothing left to save. I opened an email from a client, my fingers moving quickly over the keys. The work grounded me, gave me purpose. I'd left Omaha with little more than my savings and a few boxes, but it was enough. This city, wherever it was, offered a fresh start. I didn't need a big apartment or a flashy life, just a space to rebuild, to grow. The sunlight shifted, warming the room, and I smiled. Freedom wasn't just the absence of chains. It was the courage to walk away, to lose what held you back. I thought about the lessons I'd carry forward. Protect what you've earned. Draw lines where they're needed. Never let anyone, even family, take what's yours without a fight. My mother's tears, my brother's rage, his wife's arrogance, they were echoes of a past I'd outgrown. I'd dared to let go, and in doing so, I'd found something stronger, myself. I turned back to my work ready for what lay ahead.